Thank you for being here and choosing this story today. Before we begin, please like this video to support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss the next parts, and comment below to tell us where you're watching from. Also, when you're done listening, rate this story from 1 to 10. Your feedback truly matters and helps us grow. Now, let us begin. This story will teach you that the deepest wounds are not caused by claws or fangs, but by those who once stood beside you and turned away. You will learn that power, when driven by fear, can destroy entire families and still leave the powerful empty. You will see how love does not always arrive as comfort. Sometimes it comes as the very thing you are meant to hate. The first lesson is that truth never stays buried. No matter how hard it is hidden, it finds a way to surface, often when the cost is highest. The second lesson is that vengeance feels strong but heals nothing. It sharpens pain instead of ending it. The third lesson is that fate does not ask for permission. It binds souls even across bloodshed and war. The fourth lesson is that forgiveness is not weakness, it is the hardest form of courage. And the fifth lesson is that love can exist in darkness, but surviving it requires sacrifice. If you have ever loved someone you should not, trusted someone who ruined you, or wondered if destiny can be cruel and beautiful at the same time, then this story is for you. I still remember the night my pack was banished. The moon was full, white and cold, watching us like a silent judge that had already made its decision. Smoke clung to the air, thick with the smell of burnt earth and blood. Our howls echoed through the forest, not in defiance, but in grief. My name is Lana, daughter of a beta, healer in training, and survivor of a broken pack. We were accused of treason. That was the word used, clean, sharp, and final. No trial. No chance to defend ourselves. The ruling Alpha's council had spoken, and their enforcer carried out the sentence. Entire families were forced beyond the eastern boundary, stripped of protection, land, and name. The Alpha responsible never showed his face that night. He did not need to. His command alone was enough to shatter us. I did not know then that his blood sang to mine. I did not know he was my mate. We ran until our lungs burned and our paws bled. Children cried. Elders stumbled. When dawn came, we collapsed in a narrow valley beyond any recognized territory. That was where my mother died. The shock was too much for her heart. I held her as the sun rose, and something inside me broke beyond repair. From that moment, hatred became my anchor. Years passed. We rebuilt what little we could. Our pack was smaller, weaker, but alive. Damon, my father, took leadership after our Alpha lost his will to live. Damon became harder, colder, shaped by regret and responsibility. He trained us to survive, not to hope. I trained as a healer, but my hand shook every time I touched someone bleeding. I could still smell that night. I could still hear the cries. The bond first stirred when I was 21. It was subtle at first. A pull in my chest. A warmth that made no sense. I dismissed it as stress, exhaustion, or imagination. But then came the dreams. A man standing in shadow. Silver eyes glowing like moonfire. A presence so heavy it made me feel small and seen at the same time. I woke each time with my heart racing and a single word burning in my mind. Mine. Mates were rare among werewolves. Sacred. Unbreakable. And dangerous when politics stood in the way. I prayed it was a false bond. The truth came during a scouting mission. I was sent with Mora, my closest friend, sharp-tongued and fearless, to gather herbs near the border of the Western Territories. The land there belonged to the strongest Alpha in the region, the same one who had ordered our banishment. We were not supposed to cross the markers. But danger does not announce itself politely. A patrol found us. They surrounded us with practiced ease. Strong, well-fed, trained, Their leader stepped forward, tall and broad-shouldered, his presence alone forcing my wolf to bow. Then he lifted his hood. Silver eyes met mine. The bond snapped into place with violent force. My knees nearly gave out. My breath hitched. The world narrowed to the man in front of me as if everything else had ceased to exist. Mate. My enemy. His expression shifted from command to shock, then to something darker, recognition mixed with disbelief. I knew without him speaking. He felt it too. His name echoed in my mind before anyone said it aloud. Jace. Alpha Jace of the Western Dominion. The monster who destroyed my pack. The man fate chose for me. Stand down, he ordered his warriors, his voice deep and controlled, though I felt the tension beneath it. Let them go. Mora stared at me like she wanted to scream. The warriors hesitated but obeyed. No one questioned an alpha. As we backed away, Jace's gaze never left mine. The bond pulsed, painful and alive, screaming for closeness I refused to want. I turned my back on him and ran. That night, I did not sleep. Rage and confusion battled inside me. How could the moon goddess be so cruel? How could she bind me to the very man who ruined us? Days later, Jace came to our camp. Alone. Panic spread fast. Warriors shifted. Damon stepped forward, his eyes burning with old fury. You have nerve, he said, his voice low. Coming here after what you did. Jace bowed his head slightly. I came because I must speak to Lana. Every eye turned to me. My heart pounded as I stepped forward. Fear and anger twisted together. You have nothing to say to me, I snapped. His gaze softened in a way that made my chest ache. I did not know, he said quietly. About you. About the bond. That changes nothing, Damon growled. You banished us. Jace looked at him then. I followed the laws given to me. The evidence was falsified. I discovered that too late. Silence fell. What? I whispered. Someone wanted your pack gone, Jace continued. And they succeeded. I believed lies. I carry that guilt every day. Mora scoffed. Convenient confession. I am not asking forgiveness, Jace said. I am asking for time. I felt torn apart. The bond urged me to trust him. My memories demanded I hate him. I will never be yours, I said, forcing strength into my voice. Pain flashed across his face, raw and real. That choice is yours, he replied. But fate has already spoken. He left without another word. As his presence faded, my wolf cried out inside me. I knew then that this war was not just between packs. It was inside my heart. Jace's visit changed everything. After he left, our camp did not return to normal. Whispers followed me wherever I went. Some were filled with fear, others with anger. A few carried pity. Being mated to an enemy alpha was not a blessing. It was a curse that threatened to tear apart what little unity we had left. My father said nothing at first. Damon was not a man who spoke until he had measured every possible outcome. But I could feel his disappointment, heavy and quiet, pressing down on me more painfully than anger ever could. That night, Mora sat beside me near the fire. Say it isn't true, she whispered. Say he's not really your mate. I stared into the flames. I felt it, Mora. There is no doubt. She clenched her jaw. Then fate has lost its mind. I wished I could disagree. The bond grew stronger with each passing day. I could feel Jace's emotions at the edge of my senses, restlessness, regret, a constant low tension like a storm that never broke. Sometimes when I closed my eyes, I felt his presence as if he stood just behind me. It terrified me how natural it felt. I tried to fight it. I threw myself into work, helping the injured, gathering supplies, pretending that nothing inside me was unraveling. But the bond does not weaken when ignored. It sharpens. 3 weeks later, disaster struck. A rival rogue group attacked our outer camp. They were brutal and desperate, moving with nothing to lose. We fought back, but we were outnumbered. I was tending to a wounded elder when I felt it, a sudden spike of alarm through the bond. Jace. Before I could understand why, a powerful howl cut through the night, deep and commanding. The rogues froze. Then his warriors descended on them like a force of nature. Jace tore through the battlefield with controlled fury, his movements precise, deadly, and terrifying. He did not hesitate. He did not show mercy. And yet, every time danger came near me, he was there. When it was over, bodies littered the ground. Silence followed. Our pack stared in shock. Jace shifted back to human form, blood streaking his skin, his chest rising and falling heavily. He looked at Damon and bowed his head again. "I will not allow harm to come to her," he said. "Or to your people. Not again." Damon studied him for a long moment. "Protection does not erase the past," he said. "No," Jace agreed. "But it is a start." That night, he stayed. Not as a conqueror. Not as an alpha claiming territory. He stayed at the edge of camp, alone, as if punishing himself. I found myself watching him from a distance, my chest tight with emotions I did not want. Later, I confronted him. "You didn't have to come," I said. "Yes, I did," he replied calmly. "The bond warned me. I listened." I hated how steady he was. How honest. "You think saving us once makes up for banishing us?" His jaw tightened. "No, nothing will." I searched his face, looking for lies, arrogance, cruelty. I found none. Only a man burdened by choices that could not be undone. "Who framed us?" I asked quietly. His eyes darkened. "My beta. Kieran. He wanted power. Your pack stood in the way." Rage burned through me. "And you believed him." "I was wrong," Jace said. "And I paid for it the moment I felt you." Silence stretched between us, thick and dangerous. "Do you feel it?" I asked despite myself. "Yes," he answered immediately. "Every breath." The honesty in his voice weakened my defenses more than anger ever could. Days turned into weeks. Jace helped rebuild, trained our warriors, shared resources. Slowly, resistance softened. Trust did not come easily, but survival demanded compromise. Still, the bond remained unfulfilled, untouched, burning. One night, the tension snapped. I woke gasping, the bond screaming. I knew where he was before I opened my eyes. I found him near the river, standing waist deep in water, his fists clenched, his control fraying. "Stop running from me," he said without turning. "I'm not running," I lied. "You are," he replied. "Because if you stop, you'll have to feel it." I stepped closer. The air between us crackled with restrained desire and fear. "You are the reason my mother died," I said, my voice breaking. Pain crossed his face. "I know. You are the alpha who destroyed my home." "Yes." "And you are my mate," I whispered. He turned then slowly, as if afraid I would disappear. "I will never force you," he said. "But I will spend my life making amends if you allow me." Tears burned my eyes. I hated fate. I hated the moon goddess. I hated how my heart betrayed my pain. When his hand brushed mine, the bond surged, overwhelming and warm. I did not pull away. That night, we did not mark. We did not claim. But the wall between us cracked. And I knew war was coming. Because Kieran would not let his lies die quietly. And neither would the past. The warning came at dawn. I felt it before anyone spoke, a sharp pull through the bond, tight with urgency and anger. Jace was awake, already moving, already preparing for something he had feared since the night he admitted the truth. Kieran was coming. The camp stirred as Jace's warriors arrived, breathless and tense. Kieran had rallied loyalists, twisting the story once more, claiming Jace had been compromised by weakness. By me. He promised them power, land, and freedom from the old laws. War was no longer a possibility. It was inevitable. Damon gathered our pack. His voice was steady, but his eyes lingered on me longer than usual. We fight today not for revenge, he said, but for the right to exist. I met Jace's gaze across the clearing. The bond pulsed, fierce and protective. For the first time, I did not resist it. The battle was chaos. Claws clashed. Howls tore through the air. Blood soaked the ground that had already witnessed too much suffering. I moved from warrior to warrior, healing where I could, pushing my fear aside. Through it all, I felt Jace, his focus razor-sharp, his control stretched thin. Then I saw Kieran. He was larger than I expected, his presence warped by ambition. When his eyes found mine, he smiled. You should have stayed broken, he sneered. Before I could react, he lunged. Pain exploded through me as I was thrown aside. I hit the ground hard, breath knocked from my lungs. Panic rippled through the bond. Lorna. Jace's roar shook the forest. Kieran turned to face him, arrogance dripping from every movement. You chose her over your people, he taunted. Now watch them fall. Their fight was brutal. Kieran fought without restraint, fueled by greed. Jace fought with purpose. Every strike carried the weight of guilt, love, and responsibility. When Kieran aimed a killing blow meant for Jace, I acted without thought. I shifted. The pain of transformation burned, but I welcomed it. I threw myself between them, taking the strike meant for my mate. Agony tore through my side. I collapsed, vision blurring. The bond screamed. Jace ended it then. With a final devastating blow, Kieran fell. Silence followed, broken only by ragged breathing and distant cries of the wounded. Jace was beside me instantly, hands shaking as he pressed them to my wound. Stay with me, he begged, his voice breaking. Please. I forced my eyes open. I told you, I whispered, I would never forgive you. His face crumpled. But I can choose you, I finished. Tears fell freely then. I am sorry, he said. For all of it. The healing took days. When I finally woke, sunlight filtered through the trees. The camp was quiet. Peaceful. Damon stood nearby. The council has spoken, he said. Your banishment has been revoked. Our pack is recognized again. Relief washed through me. But it was Jace I searched for. He stood at the edge of the clearing, distant, as if afraid to come closer. I walked to him. You don't have to leave, I said softly. I don't deserve you, he replied. Maybe not, I said. But fate rarely asks what we deserve. When I took his hand, the bond settled, warm and whole. I allowed the mark. Not as surrender, but as choice. Love did not erase the past. It did not bring back the dead. But it gave us a future shaped by truth, not lies. I was mated to the alpha who destroyed my pack. And together, we rebuilt it stronger than before.